Hello Stitchy friends, my name is Melissa and you found my little corner of YouTube where I talk about cross stitch, quilting, and taking time to be creative. Thanks for joining me today. It's been probably since July since I've had a chance to sit down and have a little visit with you. Today we're going to be talking about cross stitch, what I've finished since then, what I've been working on, and some of my upcoming plans. I'll sprinkle in a little life update as we go along through the projects. And I hope you're doing well. I'm filming on Wednesday, and this is the day before Thanksgiving in the United States. So I have my daughter will be coming home today after her classes at the university she's attending. My husband's been off visiting family, and I'm recovering from a little bug that I've had. I ended up actually getting strep. I work in a school, and so there's all kinds of little germies running around, and it's been a while since I've had that, and I've forgotten how long it takes to kind of recuperate from that, so I apologize for my voice today. I've recovered from the strep, but since then I've kind of gotten some congestion, and so anyway, I'm just working through that. I've got my tea here with me. I hope you've got some stitching or something that you're enjoying while you're watching. You know, sometimes I have to confess that I actually, to get in some of the floss tubes and stay inspired and kind of stay connected. A lot of times I'm folding laundry or maybe doing some dishes or cooking while I'm watching some floss tubes, but I don't want to miss out even when my stitching time is short. So whatever you're up to, I hope that you're having a great day, and I'm glad that we can spend a little time here together. So the first thing I wanted to share with you are some of the finishes that I've had. I've completed about 4 cross stitches, and let's just jump in and I'll show you some of them. The first one is Primrose Cottage Stitches, and this one is Pumpkin Kisses. And I started this and I was just, shocked is a pretty strong word, but it was so fun, and it's been a while since I've completed some big letters, and it went by just so fast. I enjoyed it so much and pretty much stitched this monogamously until I got it done. I did stitch it on some 14 count vintage country mocha, and I decided to stitch on the mottled side. So I used DMC threads, which I believe are called for. Yep. And it was just a really quick stitch, and I loved it so much. I've had my eye out for some of the others. They have quite a few patterns that kind of follow the same kind of wishes and kisses or stitches. They kind of rhyme based on the season. So I've picked up a couple patterns since then. It was a really fun finish. So that's that one. The next one that I finished up, you've seen before. I was working on it if you're familiar with Katie, the novel stitcher, she has a book club that she does that she started out with her her cross stitch channel, and it's the same channel, but she likes to tie in a cross stitch pattern that you can pick out, and she usually offers several titles, and her viewers can vote on which one they'd like to all read together. And so over about 2 months, people stitch something that they think kind of ties in with that book and read together, and then in the end of the 2 months, she usually hosts a Zoom session. And I haven't been able to attend any of the Zoom sessions, which is unfortunate because I think that would be fabulous. But I've read all of the books that she's offered up, and even I have some that I've added to my list that were options because they sounded so good. So this one, I think I chose with her second book, with her second book choice, and I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was. I know that she's done a book called, I think, A Single Thread. Maybe that's not it. Anyway, go to her channel and check it out. The last book that she did was The Violin Conspiracy, so I kind of let this stitch be for 2 of those because I was like, why start a new one? I'll just continue on with this stitch, but it is called A Top-Notch Cup of Tea, and it is from the Top Knot Stitchers shop. It was a real easy download. It was the first time I'd actually visited her shop. And I think this pattern she did in collaboration with maybe some market releases, and you could stitch it in a special palette called Tea Time. But I chose DMCs. I kind of picked my own DMCs. So this is what, and actually I think I shared earlier that I had a hard time finding in stash because I wanted to start it that night kind of thing. So I had some fiber on a whim fabric, and I ended up coffee tea dyeing it, which I thought was appropriate for a tea stitch. So this is what I came up with. I did change it just a little bit. I introduced, I think, another color or so, because these came out kind of light and I wanted them a little bit darker for the books. So I did change those. I mean, all of the threads are DMC, so they're all changed anyway. But I did darken this up just a little bit. I debated quite a bit about doing the frame on the outside, and I do love that frame. I do love the shape of it. But for right now, I'm not sure that I want to try and finish and frame this and try and get those edges straight. So I'm thinking about finding a small frame and just framing it out pretty small and putting it in on one of the shelves where my books and things are. We have this, I'm going to call it kind of an odd room. I think it's meant to be a formal living room in this house that leads, it's got big sliding glass doors and windows, and it leads out to the patio, kind of a, I guess almost like a courtyard. Here in New Mexico, a lot of people have like walls around their patio. And where we live, it's kind of nice because we have bobcats and, maybe not bobcats, mountain lions, and coyotes and different animals. So anyway, we have some bookshelves in that room, and I think it might be nice just kind of tucked in on one of the shelves there. So really love the deep colors in that. And I like the way my dyeing kind of came out. It's the first time I tried to do a coffee tea dye. So anyway, pretty fun. So that was the second finish. Now this one seems very out of season, and I think I may have started it around February time frame. It's Be Mine by Primrose Cottage Stitches, and you know, it's one of those little projects that I kitted up, and I thought, oh, this one will be a great one to travel with, because I have to travel a little bit for my job, because we all meet in Albuquerque. I live in New Mexico, for those of you who are new, and every so often we have, I'm a literacy coach, and so we're spread out all over the state, and every so often we get together for training or meetings in Albuquerque. And so we'll spend a few nights, sometimes just one night, and I always like to have something kitted up to take with me to work on in the evenings. And I've kind of dragged this around and hadn't really made a lot of progress. You know, I started being, the coaches have gotten to know each other a lot better, and so we're being a lot more social, going out to dinner and hanging out together. And so I don't always have enough night to get in some stitching before we have an early early wake up for our meetings the next morning. So it wasn't making much progress. So just here in the last couple weeks, I decided, you know what, this is a small enough finish. I'm going to concentrate on it and try and get this done. When I travel and take it places, it's not always easy for me to work on without the magnifier. I'm having some issues with my eyes, some dryness and different things with my contacts, and so I feel like having a magnifier is a lot easier to work on it. So I'm doing it on a Lugana, and I believe it might be like a 24 count. I think that's what it is. So I just sat down and actually this last week or so, I decided I needed to rest and recover from what I've got going on, and it's like I'm just gonna concentrate on it and get it done, and I love it so much. The letters came together pretty easy. Once I got going on it, you know, it's so funny. There are things that we just pick up and put a few stitches in, but if we give it a little time, we can get some progress on things. That's one thing that's been kind of hard this last, I'll say, semester, is I find that I'm stitching more on the weekends. I've been really tired in the evenings. My daughter's gone off to college, and it's kind of funny because they told us, okay, parents, you need to get hobbies. This is going to be life-changing for you. And I was like, okay, I got this. I've got lots of hobbies, and I can really lean into that. But it's been kind of funny. I like what I do for work. And so it's been really easy knowing that I don't have to go pick up somebody, or my husband works a little bit later a lot of times, so I'm not in a big hurry to get started on dinner, and a lot of times my work day will tend to go a little bit later than it really should. And so then I'm tired, you know, after we have dinner, a little bit later in the evening. And so I haven't been stitching as much as I would really like to. And so that's going forward. I feel like I really need to focus on turning that work day off and enjoy the things that I have, the hobbies, and kind of bring that richness into my life. So anyway, I have one more finish, and this is the one that has been the go-to. You know, I always pack a couple of different projects, 2 or 3, because I'm afraid, you know, I might get bored with one, or I might finish it, or who knows what. But this one is one that has been a go-to that it's been very easy to pick up and stitch on. I got this at the Jingle Ball, I think the first Jingle Ball. It's by Lindy Stitches. The pattern looks like this, and it's called Peppermint Candy. And I can tell you why it's been such an easy thing to pick up and fun and satisfying. It's because all of these motifs, when I complete one, it just feels so satisfying, and it's very easy to start the next one and go, you know what, just one more. So I've kind of, it would have been probably a pretty quick stitch, but I've kind of saved it for when I've been traveling, and I've loved having it with me. And just recently I decided, you know what, the Jingle Ball's coming. I don't think I've hardly stitched much of what I've purchased at the Jingle Ball. I'm so excited about it, and I'll talk more about it if you haven't heard about it here in a little bit. But I was like, I need to get some of the projects that I've, gotten from that event either started or finished, so that I can feel good about getting some more. So I'll show you my my finish here. So this I stitched on a 14 count Aida. I'm not sure, the color might be like an ivory or something like that. It's not white. This is a white, so you can tell it's got a little bit of cream to it. I did make a few little changes. So you'll see the fabric is so light. And I can tell actually the snowflakes kind of show up, but in person it's kind of hard to see unless you're in the right light. I left those alone, but then like the snowman, actually the candlestick was the first one I did it to. I had to kind of outline with one strand the candlestick because it was white, and it just ghosted in the background. So as I worked around, I actually started with the goose and worked, I think, this way to get to the bunny, and kind of worked around this way, I think. Yeah, I think I did work around this way. The snowman was actually the last thing I put in. I almost forgot it. And I did a little backstitch around the pom-pom on the Santa's hat, but I left, and a little bit there, but I left his beard. And I was gonna say, maybe, did I change any colors? Maybe not. There may be, I almost put a tree in, because you can see there's several trees. There's one here, and I think there's one here. So I almost substituted a tree there, but I decided, well, let me try it, and I'll try backstitching it. I did a little backstitching there. So it turned out pretty good, I think. Oh, I did make a change. Yep. So there were two X's here, like two cross-stitch X's. And I decided that they stood out so much. And in a way, they kind of reminded me of, like, you know how cartoon characters, when they have a catastrophe happen, they get the little X eyes. And that's what it looked like to me. And I know it's like, it's meant to look like cross-stitch, I get that. But it being in a circle, I was like, you know what, I think I'm just going to make a little heart there, because there's some other hearts in there. So that was a little change that I made. But I have just loved this so much. Doing all these little motifs, they're so darling. I love the deer. Lindy Stitches just really, I don't know, she just really found such a great assortment in the way she kind of spaced them out and filled them in all together. And I love the saying, peppermint candy, gingerbread spice, Christmas means everything nice. Oh, and I did change the order of the little lights here. I think they were grouped together, the colors, and I just kind of alternated them. So anyway, so fun. Now I've got to find a project that's easy to have on the go, that's 14 count, and is as satisfying as that is. So I don't know, it'll be hard to find. If you have suggestions for something that's 14 count, lots of little motifs like that, let me know. The letters were easy too. It's just been great to have, but it is time to move on to some other things. So those are my 4 finishes. And now I've got some new starts, some other things that I've been working on, and I'm excited to show you those too. Okay, so hopefully my voice will hang in there just a little bit longer. The next one I started was Plum Street. This is the day. From the moment I saw this, I have just absolutely loved it. And when my daughter left for college, I was so excited for her. She was so ready to be independent, to be on her own, to be making her own decisions, to start classes at college. She was just excited, and I was excited for her. And I was really surprised the last week that she was home. All of her boxes were sitting here in the next room, ready to go, and I just got like so emotional about it, seeing all those boxes packed up. And you know, you just never know like what opportunities will come her way, and like just the future of her not being here every day, like you know, I know like my husband, when he started college, he went on ski trips with friends. Like there was quite a bit of span of time where he probably didn't go home. So anyway, it just, I kind of got sad. It was a lot of it. If that moment, that event, that period of time, more than anything else, has shown me that you can feel many emotions at one time, and sometimes conflicting emotions. And so, anyway, the day that we took her to move into her dorm, we got her all moved in. It was an exhausting weekend. It went very smoothly, but it was exhausting. And I remember on the ride home, like I kind of got teary the day before we moved her in. We were at the hotel, but you know, you work so hard to kind of hold it together. And then on the way home, I was like, you know what? I'm doing okay. I can see where she's at. She's gonna do great. And the closer we got to home, the more little memories, little things would pop up, and it just, oh my goodness, my mama heart. And so, you know, I thought I need to remember the positive in all this, which, you know, I do. But this is the hymn. When we were praying for her to come into our lives, this was the hymn that really touched me. And so now that she was on the next step of her like life journey, this is the phrase, the hymn, the verse, the song that I really wanted to hold in my heart. And it says, "This is the day that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." And so I wanted to remember that, and remember that this is a really positive, wonderful thing to celebrate. This is the passage, you know, of our child's life and good things to come. So I wanted to be able to stitch on this while she was in college, and to focus on, you know, the really good positive things. So I'm gonna stop and get a drink, and I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that interruption. I thought a little bit of tea would be plenty to kind of get me through, but I've had to pop in a cough drop, so I apologize that I have something in my mouth. But I just really wanted to take some time to be with you today and share my stitching and kind of check in and see how you guys are all doing. And so I'm going to try and hang in there. So Plum Street, that house, there's a lot of bricks and a lot of color changes. And I was a little worried that it would be tedious, but I found that I really, in the same way that I love doing the little motifs and feeling some satisfaction with those, the doing the little bricks has been kind of nice, because I have like a little completion there. So not much of a start there, but I've liked working with the different colors that are in the bricks, and I'm doing this stitch on a 36 count, cream and sugar by Fiber on a Whim, and I'm actually doing one strand. I've got two projects here, I think, that I've started doing with one strand, and it was a little like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that, but I'm finding that I do like it a lot. So so far so good. I'm really excited to get to the flowers, the flower basket in the pattern. Those are just so fun and whimsical. I love the bright colors. There's some goats in there. You can barely see them. There's one right there, and there's some here stacked up. And I don't know if I'm going to put the goats in. I know I've heard some people have left them out and just replaced them with some flowers, and I'm working on such a light fabric that I don't think mine are going to show up either. So I may do something like that. We shall see. But that one I'll be working on. I'm going to take my time with it and work on it, and kind of reflect on what's going on with my daughter and the exciting things, in her life, and I love that it kind of ties into that hymn that was so touching for me when we spent quite a few years praying for her to come into our lives, and it just kind of seems like a neat kind of continuation of that journey of parenthood. So the next one that I have is also a Plum Street, and it's called Rest a While. And I started this one because Katie the Novel Stitcher started it for her birthday, and I have long loved this pattern, and decided that it was a good reason to go ahead and start it. So I love foxes. I don't know what it is about them, but I love the little acorns. The moon is so whimsical. Just love the pattern. So this is my little small start here. Let's see how I need to position that. Okay, so again, not a huge start, but I love the variegated floss. I think it calls for a lot of Weeks Dye Works, and also, is it CC is it, oh, you guys know, are probably screaming it at me. Classic Color Works. That's what it is, Classic Color Works. So I went with a little bit darker fabric. Did I write it down? Did not, but let me see. It might be, sometimes the tag is still on here. It might be Affogato by Fiber on a Whim. Yeah, that's what it is. It is Affogato by Fiber on a Whim, and I believe it's 36 count. Yep, that's what it is. So that's been fun to stitch. I love seeing the variegation, how it stitches up. That's really the first time that I've stitched much with the variegated floss, so I was excited to try it out. I was a little concerned about the one strand, that it would be like not enough coverage or too light, but so far so good. The only tricky thing has been getting it started, because I love a loop start with 2 strands. But what I've done is tie a knot on the end and go in through the front a little distance from where I'm planning on stitching. Go back up through the back, and then as I stitch, those stitches kind of cover that strand on the back, so that I don't have to, try and hold down on the back that one strand. And so that seems to be working pretty good. I'm not like super efficient with it yet, but I like the way it kind of works. I know some people start with a pin stitch, but I'm so nervous about the idea of that and it not holding. But I will play with that at some time. But anyway, Rest a While. That's Katie the Novel Stitcher's birthday start this year. And so the next one is one of those patterns that I started, well, I purchased at the Jingle Ball last year. And it was probably like the pattern that I was most excited about. It was different from a lot of other things that I've stitched before. And it was a designer that I had never stitched before. So it's called Go Tell It on the Mountain. And it's by Beth Twist of Heartstrings Samplery. Right? Yeah, Samplery. So I'm going to go in pretty close so you can see. Just some great kind of woodsy pine cones, holly berries. I love the snow. So if you watch the Flosstube that I filmed in July, you'll know that this fabric was what sent me on a wild goose chase looking for different fabrics. I purchased some different ones. This Affogato that I'm stitching Rest a While on, I purchased. And I think some others, searching for a good dark fabric. I did like the modeling quite a bit. And I ended up at Colorado Cross Stitcher at her shop. And it is around the Loveland, Fort Collins area. And I found lots of fabric. But this is the one that I picked out, and I thought it was pretty close. I still have a needle in here, so I apologize for that. I did iron things, but I wanted to leave that needle in there. So this is how far I got on it. You can see the start of the house here. The red really pops, and so did the snowflakes. I just love how it's coming together so far. So I do have the fabric here, actually. It is, let's see, 32 count Belfast linen and honey amber. And it's a seraphim fabric. And it's got just some nice subtle modeling. It's almost got some reds in there. So anyway, I felt so lucky to find that. And that was my main purpose in going to Colorado Cross Stitcher's shop. Was to find fabrics. I tell you what, it's probably been the best shop for fabric I've ever been to. Not that I've been to a ton of cross stitch shops, but she had it just organized in such a nice way. The lighting was so good. It was so easy to pick out fabrics there. So highly recommend if you're ever in her area to stop in if you're hunting for some good fabrics. And she's got an online shop as well. She was really helpful. She pointed me in the right direction and gave me time to like go over and really kind of look through things. So great experience there. Oh, and I wanted to say that this is the thing that I love about Flosstube and just the cross stitch community, because I mentioned that I wanted to start it in my journey for the fabric. I think in my July Flosstube. Natalie of Cross Stitch Nat Quebec, that's her Instagram handle, is xstitchnat Quebec. She reached out to me on Instagram and said, hey, why don't we start it together? And I was like, that would be fabulous. And I think I said I'll plan on doing it when I get back from, I had quite a few trips at the beginning of the school year. I said September would be good. Anyway, it was a little bit later when I started it, but she started hers, and just having that connection really motivated me to pick it up and get started on it. And of course, she's so fast. She finished it, and hers turned out so beautiful. She played around with some of the thread, I think the white for the snowflakes, and it just turned out beautiful. And so, Natalie, I wanted to tell you how much I appreciated you reaching out, and you kind of kept me actually feeling like I wanted to keep going with picking up some cross stitch, even though it wasn't always go tell it on the mountain. I think I just picked that up a few times. It kind of kept me stitching. So thank you. It really meant a lot to me. And if you get a chance to go out to her Instagram, she's got some great projects going on. She's got one by Long Dog that, of course, those are so huge. She's doing it in a red thread. I think it's called Token or Token of Love or something like that. Oh, it's just gorgeous. And she posted recently, her most recent post is a hello from Liz Matthews piece. It's the one that says boo, and it's got some, I think maybe a little black cat and some pumpkins. She finished it so cute. So go check Natalie out. And Natalie, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for reaching out and getting me going on some more projects. So, okay, the next one I have to share is one that it's been with me for a while, but it's one my sister got for me for my birthday a couple years ago from an Etsy shop. And I think the Etsy shop is called VML Designs Co. And I've pulled it out several times. I've been on some Zoom meetings where I really needed to focus, but sometimes the meetings we have go on all day long. And so having something to do with my hands sometimes just really helps me stay focused, really stay listening. And I've been able to do some of the background fill in. I may have done some of the colors. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've worked on it, but it's an old friend. It's on 14 count, white Ada, and one day it'll be a great finish. For those of you that are new, I think I've shared that my dad would collect some vintage ball jars for himself and for us, my brother and sister, and so it kind of has some special meaning. And so I'm thinking I'm going to probably end up stitching this twice, once for me and once for her. Maybe even one for my sister-in-law. We'll see. Anyway, it's a great travel piece because it's on 14 count Ada, and also because you've got fill-in if you need some just stitching that doesn't take any, much concentration. But then you've also got all the flowers that take a little more counting and making sure you're in the right place. So it's kind of a dual purpose pattern. So that's been nice to have around. Okay, so I'm going to share this one. It's one of my longest projects, probably my second longest. And I love it, so I don't know why I don't work on it as much. So unfortunately, I don't have stitching to show you, but I'm going to tell you about some of my unpicking, my unstitching. So I've had this Frost and Pumpkin Stitchery project for quite a while. It's called Woodland Sampler, and I just love all the little woodland creatures in it. And I did not buy this project kitted. I kitted it myself. And at the time, I didn't do much cross stitch, but I loved it so much I wanted to start it. And the metallic thread that I bought has been a bear. So you can see, what I've kind of completed so far. And there's metallic thread in places like where the little firefly is, and I think there's some for the little stars up here, and there's supposed to be some in this one, and you can kind of see where I've kind of unpicked, but there's supposed to be snow on that branch, and it's supposed to be in that metallic thread. And I couldn't remember if I'd done 2 strands or 1 strand. I don't know what I'd done earlier, but I knew that it would be a pain to thread on the needle because there's like filament, and then there's this rascally, wiry stuff. It was just, for even 1 strand, it's hard to get on the needle. So I started stitching, and it looked awful. And I got so far, and I was like, oh, I hate this. I cannot keep stitching with this. And so I put it in the drawer, and it was in timeout. Here's the thread. And I don't know what that is, but I will try not to ever buy it again. So one day I decided, okay, my project for today is to take those stitches out. It was a pain to take out, and here's what I've decided. I'm going to go ahead and try 1 strand and see how it goes, because I'm so close to finishing this. I just have 3 blocks left. I have November, and then I have the year in December. I'm so close, and I love it so much. And I want to have it done. I don't even know what I want to do with it, but I just want it done. So if the metallic thread does not work with 1 strand and I hate it, I'm just going to do white. There's white in other places, and it'll be just fine. The white, it's for snow. I'm halfway tempted to just do it in white anyway, but it would be kind of fun to have that sparkle down a little bit further. So anyway, that's my plan for that. I had high hopes that I would get this done this year because I think I started it 10 years ago, to be honest. I went down the rabbit hole with quilting for quite a while, and I did not really pick up cross stitch. I thought this was going to be a thing that I would work on when I was camping. Sometimes I remember taking it to, I think my daughter was doing maybe a volleyball camp or something like that. But anyway, it's one I really need to kind of focus on a little bit. But that's where I'm at with that. Sometimes doing the unstitching is it's a huge accomplishment in making a decision and moving on. Okay, so the last whip, I think it's the last whip I have to share with you, is Flea Market Flowers by Lori Holt. Got it in this little bag here. Poppy Cotton Fabrics. I use the tutorial by Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. Here's the pattern, and starting out here on this big big pink flower, and I just got a little bit further. I mean, man, I couldn't go more than a snail's pace on this. But I got into this, and I don't know, I think I was tired one night, and I wasn't sure on my eyes. I'm doing it on 25 count Lugana, and I just started getting nervous that I was going to miscount here, and I just was like, you know what, you need to stop and go back when your eyes are a little bit fresher. So that's been kind of lingering in the background. Oh, I found a pair of scissors. I usually do end up having a pair of scissors in some of the bags I'm working with. I'm always nervous I'm going to get somewhere with my cross stitch projects and not have a needle or not have scissors. So anyway, those are my finishes and my whips. Okay, I'm going to share a little bit of haul. I don't really feel like I have a ton this time. And I think mostly because I have a lot of projects that I'm excited about starting and working on, but I just feel like I haven't really had a lot of time to do that. So I've kind of curbed some of my acquisitions a little bit. And actually until this weekend, I had some time to prepare some things. So I'll tell you about all of that. When I last visited with you, I was traveling across the U.S. from New Mexico to Tennessee, and I stopped in Oklahoma City to take a little break. There was a thunderstorm coming. I was watching the radar. I had a really bad experience with some severe weather a few years back, so I get really nervous, and so I stopped at a quilt shop and figured that would be worth, I knew I probably had like an hour or so where I needed to kind of wait out a storm coming through. And so I'm trying to think of what it was called. Oh, it was called the Savage Quilter. And so I stopped in there, and they actually had just a tiny bit of cross stitch. And I picked up some fat quarters that I thought would be great to just add to stash. So this is the cross stitch I picked up. I've had my eye on it for quite a while. I love the little houses in the different colors. It's by It's So Emma from Fat Quarter Shop, and it looks like a pretty quick little stitch. They've got it stitched up with variegated floss. It looks like there's DMC or Classic Colorworks that they recommend using. So anyway, I don't think that I will probably stitch on this for this year, but probably next year. Might even be like a Christmas in July stitch. So that one is really cute. And then I'll show you some of the fat quarters I picked up. I've kind of gotten There's a quilt that I'm working on, and it's, I think it's called Sunday Morning, and it's pretty scrappy, and it's made with low volume prints, which means that there's often a lot of like white or cream background with like little prints, little pops of color. It could be black and white, or it could be one color. It could be, I wanted, like, the quilt that I'm making has quite a bit of color in it, but lots of white background. And so I didn't have a lot of scraps when I started it that would work into that quilt well, and so for quite a number of years I've been on a journey. Like, when I go into a quilt shop, that's kind of what I look for, to kind of build up that stash. And so these are some of the ones I picked up. This one is like a kind of a navy blue, and a little floral print. This one's kind of neat because it has some little houses, but a lot of like white background. Here's some pretty like floral bouquets. And I think this one might be a Lori Holt one. Yep, I think so. It's Riley Blake. Yep, it is Lori Holt. But I thought these were just adorable, like little postage stamps. And then the last one I got was, I'm guessing that this is Camille Ross Kelly. Yep, it's a Moda. And it's Lighthearted by Camille Ross Kelly. This one's a little denser than I would probably use for like a low volume background, but I think it'll be okay to mix in because they're just like little strips. And I think that they're pretty versatile. I've seen them used in a lot of different quilts as backgrounds, so that's why I keep collecting them. So, in fact, I have a pattern I'll show you here in a little bit that I think would use them very nicely. So that was just fun to pick out a few little fat quarters. And then they had this model stitched up, just the top, I think. And I love basic gray fabric, and this one is modeled in, I think, a line of fabric called Frankie that I'm sure is long gone by now. But it seems very kind of scrappy. I think it would look good with just about any fabric. And I just thought it was a different block, and I like that it's got two different ones. It kind of creates that secondary pattern there. So anyway, it looks like it's a little more involved than like the quick ones that I've been working on lately, but it is is it a fat quarter one? It uses a fat eighth bundle, and then it's got some background fabrics that they added in, some solid grunge fabrics. So anyway, I like that quite a bit. Let's see. I also went in October to the Salt Lake City area. My husband and I have been looking at, now that what I've heard people say, the term is not empty nesters anymore. It's more like open door or revolving door parents. So we have a small little, it's a little Geo Pro camper. It has like bunks, and we've camped since my daughter was pretty young. But now that it's probably going to be more of us on our own, we've been looking at truck campers, and they're hard to find places to look for them. So we went out towards Salt Lake City. There's a couple places there that have them, and I was able to go to a store called, I think it's called Pine Needles, and they actually have a YouTube channel, but it's set in this cute little, I think it's called Gardner Village, and there's all these little shops, and in October they have this festival where the kids dress up. I think there were a lot of adults dressed up too, like the parents, and they must do some trick-or-treating. I think they have maybe some costume contest. I don't know what all goes on, but that was going on when we went down there. The parking was crazy, but we were able to, a few blocks away, up the hill was a coffee shop. And we went in and got coffee and visited with them in there. And they were like, yeah, just park outside and walk down there. And so that was very handy. And it was kind of crowded, so I didn't really, I could have spent so much time in the shop. It was beautiful. They have lots of quilting, lots of cross stitch, just both, and it's all displayed so beautifully. The little vignettes that they made to display things, just beautiful. The only complaint I had was like all of their charm packs and layer cakes were like contained in like a bag. So I like to kind of flip through sometimes if I'm not familiar with the fabric line and see what fabrics are in there. But I know if they have a lot of people coming through and handling them, it's probably nice to kind of keep them all nice and fresh. So anyway, I was looking in particular for the cross stitch, so I picked up a couple of patterns. I have a couple of these imprints patterns by Heart and Hand, and this one is called Harvest and Home, and those look like fun little quick stitches. I like that kind of arts and crafts style look, so I thought those would be kind of fun. And then I mentioned that I did the the pumpkin kisses and wishes or whatever, and I was looking for another pattern like that, so I found this one by Primrose Cottage called Halloween Kisses, and it says booze, kisses, and booze, hisses, and Halloween kisses. So I thought that would be a cute stitch. Pretty fast. And then this little booklet, I've had my eye on it for quite a while, but it's one of those things when people show it in Flosstube, it's really hard to kind of take it all in because it's called 12 Monthly Minis, and so they're just little stitch patterns and kind of pincushion size. But when people show it, it's kind of hard to take the time to really look at all of the different designs. But it really is truly, 12 designs that work really well throughout the year. You've got patriotic for 4th of July, some Valentine, winter snowmen. I'm not sure what month their purple flowers are. Some shamrocks, strawberries, some more florals. That might be kind of Christmassy, some Halloween, a turkey, some fall. So anyway, really cute. It was nice to be able to go in person and like flip through the book and really see the patterns. The patterns are in color. And kind of just show you just real quick. And the pictures that they put on there to kind of show how they've displayed them are really neat. They take a lot of care in their photography, I feel like. And then here is another way that you could display them. We've got some cute little pins. My guess is that's just another button company. So having a chance to really look through and see how they display things are really nice. They kind of did it in the same way. They've got the same spools and scissors and things, but they kind of put some other accents. So like here's the patriotic one. Kind of cover up the pattern so you can kind of see that they put some like little wooden pieces down there to kind of tie along or kind of tie in with it. But you can kind of see from the little peaks of the pattern that was showing that their patterns are so easy to read, full color. They're large. So anyway, such a great book. I'm really excited to stitch some of these and just, I don't know, have a great pattern to work with. Really goes a long way to you wanting to pick up a project. So that was one. And then I can't remember where I got this one. I might have gotten it there too. But it's Hello from Liz Matthews, the Boo Spook Haunt. Let's see, Boo Spook Haunt, yeah. So I just thought this was really different. I love the ghosts, the shape of them, how flowy they look. And then just in the garden, it's just such a different take. There's like some little spiders and things. So anyway, those were some things I picked up. Oh wait, I got a couple more actually. Oh, I think I ordered these from Stitch On in Lawrence, Kansas. I've mentioned before they have a Facebook page where on Mondays and Thursdays, and they take about an hour and show some of the things that are in the shop. They do cross stitch, quilting fabric, gifts, sometimes even lotions or potpourris. What other notions. Yeah, sometimes some like wool dryer balls, socks, just different fun things, but mostly fabric and cross stitch, I would say. But I ordered this a frosty frill, and I got that to go with the Frosty Tiny Town. It's kind of neat the way they finished it there on the back. And then I ordered this Tiny Modernist. I believe I ordered that from them too. It looked like a fun, quick little stitch. It's called Small Fall Sewing. I just thought some things here in my sewing room might be nice to have that were kind of sewing themed. And I may have ordered some other things. When you order from them, and you order things from their Facebook Live, they'll hold it for you and so that you can accumulate things, or they'll send it right out if you want. But they want to make the most of your shipping. So if you want to wait a few sessions and accumulate some things, they have a nice organizational system where they keep all your things together, and when you're ready to ship, you call them or you Facebook message them and say, I'm ready, go ahead and send it, and they split the shipping with you, so they'll pay half of the shipping. So this weekend I actually tried to order from them some floss. They didn't have everything that I needed in stock, and I needed it pretty quick. But I said, hey, I'm actually looking for some patterns by Primrose Cottage. If you have them in stock, or if you're able to order them, I'd love to have them, and I'm not in a big hurry. And so they'll order stuff for you, but if you that I would probably pay full shipping on. But your Facebook Live things, you pay half price shipping. And when you order from them, they usually tuck in some kind of free little gift, a little surprise, which I just think is so thoughtful and not necessary. But you know, I've been shopping with them for years and years and years, and I've just gotten to know the family. I've done retreats with them when they did retreats, and they are just the kindest people that you could ever meet. And I just think it's so neat that they do this. But sometimes they'll throw some needles in my bag. This last time I ordered, they put in what do you call it? Like it was a floss. It was a hand-dyed floss. And then sometimes I get these little things from Prairie Stitcher, some little patterns. So it's always fun to see what fun little thing that they will tuck in. So anyway, it's neat to be able to still order with a favorite shop that I had when I lived in Kansas. So a couple other things I've gotten. I had signed up for Fat Quarter Shop has a quarterly club with Stitching with the Housewives, and I've gotten all of them, and this is the last one that came. It was called Winter, Sayings of the Season, and this is the winter one. And the theme is Winter Wonderland, and I'll kind of zoom in kind of close there. So I've really loved all of the patterns, and I like the long format of them. I think it's kind of fun. I kind of have an idea of a place to use that. But it came with a pattern. Came with one of these mesh bags, and it's a smaller one. It came with a little charm. And then it also came with a coupon. I wasn't fast enough to use it, but it was like a certain percent off. No, I can't remember what it was now, but they usually have a good little coupon in there. But then in the bag, they have some finishing fabric. I'm guessing that this is like one of the Stitching with the Housewives fabric. And then they have the fabric to stitch on. I believe this is the black Monaco. It looks pretty small, so it must be, yeah, it's 28 count black Monaco. And then they send the flosses. So they're all, I can never remember the names. I follow Color and Cotton out of St. Louis, but there's also another C one, Classic Color Works. Yeah. So those are all the hand dyed for that project. So anyway, I have all 4 seasons now, and my guess is this will be one that I can start in January after Christmas for kind of that winter season. So let me show you a couple other things, and then kind of a funny thing. But I ordered this Lori Holt quilt kit from Stitch On. I just love the colors of her fabrics in this. And this is kind of what the runner looks like. The size is 45 by 26. I'm hoping that it might fit on, I have like an IKEA like desk with drawers down the 2 sides that I stitch at. I have one for my sewing machine and one where I stitch. And I don't know what it is, but those desktops are so cold, at least in my house, that I like to have like a little runner or something there to kind of have things laying on, and where, you know, your arms are kind of touching that nice fabric. It makes it cozy, I think. So if it will fit there, that's great. If not, I have some other places that it would fit. So I don't know when I will start that. I've got some other things that I need to finish first. But I want to tell you about a couple of, oh yes, okay. One other thing I picked up. So I'm sure you've seen ads for these woobles everywhere, right? And they have intrigued me, but do I need another hobby? I do not. Do I want to try another hobby? Yes, I do. My sister and I joke all the time that our hobby is collecting hobbies, but my daughter and I were walking through Joann's because she has a project that she wants me to do, and to me this is like a small one and done. All the materials are in here. I don't have to go collecting anything, and I can just see what crochet is like. I don't expect to become like a big time crocheter or anything, but I thought it was cute, and she got one and I got one, and we decided it would be fun to maybe work on this, and I don't know, kind of a connecting point for us. And so I might try working on it some at Thanksgiving. Every one of the patterns comes with a video tutorial, and so I'm curious to see how that goes. I like a video tutorial, so, and also a pre-started piece. So anyway, I'll let you know. I don't plan on this becoming like a crochet channel, but I thought it'd be fun. I've seen those ads everywhere, and it's so tempting, but anyway, I thought that would be a good thing to kind of scratch that itch a little bit. So the reason why we went into Joann's was because she decided she wanted to design her own cross stitch, and she started with this photo. Well, it's a drawing that she made on her iPad. So let me show you that. So it's I don't know if it's the Pantheon, I don't know, it's ruins, right, in Greece. She's always been a big Percy Jackson fan. She's taking one of her classes this fall is Greek mythology, and so she sketched that up one time and she wanted to make a cross stitch pattern out of it. And I was like, well, you just go to town. So she did. And I gave her some graph paper. And so this is kind of what she came up with. I got kind of need to see. Okay, yes. So she kind of sketched it out with some colored pencils. And so we took this to Joanne's, and together, before she left town to go back to school, we picked out some floss. I let her do the picking. I mean, we kind of talked about contrast and things like that. So anyway, these are the colors that she picked. And then once I got home, I was like, okay, I need to double check and make sure. So we FaceTimed and I needed to remember where each one of them goes. So I had to go in and like write the numbers on some of them. So I made sure I got the right colors in the right spot. There's a lot of, this is going to be like a full coverage thing. And there's a lot of what I would call background over here. It's all going to be the same. So she wants it to be exactly like this. So I think what I'm going to do is start from the top right, but go in about maybe that much and leave room for all of this, but start stitching over here. This has a lot of stitching, but I really want to have her see what it looks like to have her stitching come together. So anyway, I thought when she's home for Thanksgiving that I would kind of work on that, and we'll see how that comes out. And I got some white because it's full coverage, and it would be nice if she would decide that she wanted to do it, but that would be kind of a hard one to kind of, I think, take on, but we'll see how that goes. So I found this little basket in Target, and I thought, you know what, that is like shallow enough that I think it will fit kind of under the top of the coffee table that I have. There's a little shelf under there that I thought, oh, that may slide, and I think it's big enough to like hold some projects. And the little tray that I have that I put, it's kind of a mess right now, but I've got some scissors and some needle minders and just highlighters, some needles, some odds and ends, a little pattern holder. So I think that might be a good thing. I've tried having like a little cart in there, but I kind of feel like it kind of gets in the way. So I'm going to try using that. I've got a few projects that I'm kind of tucked on that I think might be good to focus on. So I mentioned the Jingle Ball, and if you may be familiar with the Jingle Ball, you may have attended the Jingle Ball, but if you're new to the cross stitch community, or like you just may not have heard of the Jingle Ball, so let me tell you just a little bit about it. This year will be the 3rd year that it'll be held. It's a virtual event that Lindy Stitches hosts on an event platform. This year she's using Excel Events, and she usually there's 12 designers that participate together. So this year I decided, of course I've like had the date blocked out on my calendar for quite a while, and I used to go to quilting retreats quite a bit, and I haven't had the opportunity to do that. There's like not as many like quilt shops around here, or groups that host them, and so I've had to kind of do my own little retreats. So this is my like big retreat weekend. My family knows that this is like a cross stitch weekend. So I did purchase a few PDF classes. I didn't purchase the whole kit. There were some kits that I thought I would get, but I hesitated, I waited too long, and then I went back to get one and changed my mind. So anyway, it's been fine. I chose to do, I'll show you a couple of the classes that I chose to do. So the first one is Hands-on Design has one called #Joy. And I know that I'm going to cross stitch this, but I'm not sure how I'll finish it. But I am excited to go to the class and see how Kathy finishes it, how she attaches the cross stitch to the felt wool. And so maybe I will finish it the same way. Honestly, I haven't even started it. Like, I just kitted it up this weekend because I've not been feeling well. So I don't have any anticipation of having anything finished before I go, but you get to keep the class recording for 30 days, and I'm just eager to see like another technique, whether I do it or not. So I'm always wanting to learn. So the thing that's kind of neat about this, on the back of the pattern, the back of the pattern, you can see this little piece right here, this kind of, she used that here for decoration, but she's come out with some patterns recently that look kind of like ribbons, and I thought, oh, you know what, that little design would be so cute as a little ribbon. If you bought one of her other patterns and really enjoyed doing it, you could probably incorporate that into that same kind of format. And really, a lot of these, I think you could kind of repurpose these and do some smalls to make some little ornaments. So I just love that pattern. So I'm going to do her class, and then another class that I'm going to do is this is Stacy Nash, and it's a book for a hoop. It's not a needle book, it's a little bit bigger than that. It's got some wool inside. Just think that is so darling. Here's the little, the back side. So it's got some mice doing some things there. Now, I will say hesitate just a little bit on the mice. I think mice, in the past I've always thought the little motifs with mice are so cute. I know Tiny Modernist has some patterns with mice. But my mom a few years back, there was a mouse that got into, they lived way out in the country, and she discovered that a mouse had gotten into one of her tubs that had some quilts, and it chewed on one of my grandmother's quilts. And my mom, she did find out where it was living. It was under like a bookshelf, and it had taken the stuffing, the batting, from the quilt, and I think taken it from another room. And anyway, she was just mortified and sad that it had chewed on that quilt. But when you live out in the country, I think sometimes that happens. She never saw any signs of it, like in her kitchen or anything, but I don't know how she discovered it, but once she discovered it, she went on a hunt to check and see, if there were more or if it had damaged anything, and she did find that. So she's been anti-mouse, and I've had that in my mind. And then shortly after, we moved to New Mexico. Sometimes I say it so fast that it sounds like Mexico, but I moved to New Mexico, and one of the first things people told us when we moved here, that you need to be very careful if you move into a house that has a shed or something like that, and you see any signs of mice, you need to take precautions. And sometimes that means calling in like a special team of people to take care of that, because they spread a very deadly respiratory virus, disease, whatever. So like the idea of mice, I know it's like Christmassy, right? Like the little Christmas story, or not a creature with stirring, not even a mouse. Like, I get that. So anyway, I was watching Holly of Hobbies by Holly, I think is her name. I just kind of started watching some of her Flosstubes, and she said that she was just going to do the front. So I don't know, the bag is so cute with the little stockings in the fireplace, so I may go ahead and do them. I also love Stacy Nash's, the little bobbin, the little mouse critter. So cute. So, you know, maybe people have strong opinions about squirrels, and I personally think squirrels are adorable. So there can be maybe room for lots of feelings about things. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do the backside. But I don't have my materials yet. Just yesterday or the day before, I ordered the cross-stitch fabric and the wool from, I want to say it's like Blackberry Primitives. And so it's on its way. I ordered some floss from 123 Stitch. And that won't be done in time for the Jingle Ball. But I think it's adorable, something different. I'm really excited to learn about the construction aspect of it. So anyway, it looks like such an heirloom piece or something really special for the holidays. So second class. Then this is kind of my birthday. I asked my husband, can this be my birthday present? Is to get some of the classes and attend the Jingle Ball. And he was like, sure, that saves him some shopping. So I'm doing Hello from Liz Matthews, her Woodland Star. I'm very unsure about, I haven't bought the beads. I'm going to watch how she does it. I may be just as satisfied with some pom-pom trim, but I'm going to take the class and learn and have that kind of in my back pocket if I want to try beading. I can't imagine. I'm really curious how you sew that in. So I'm going to learn, but the stitch looks fun. I love the star shape. So we'll see how it all kind of comes together. I've got some DMCs. I've got the fabric. I had to steal from one kitted project to get that. That's one nice thing, except for Stacy Nash's Gingerbread House Sewing Book. I haven't had to buy any fabric. I was able to find some things from Stash. So the last class that I'm going to take is Beth Twist with Heart String Samplery. It's called Midwinter Morn Wall Tart. And I love this design. It's so sweet. The little birds, and it's got kind of the same little pine branches from the Go Tell It on the Mountain that I've been working on. Love the snowflakes, and I don't know if this is like mistletoe, what that is, but anyway, love those designs. I love the pink background. It's just so soft and beautiful, and something that I can carry into winter, all through winter. So fabric-wise, I got all my threads, but fabric-wise, I've been trying to decide. I had in my stash, Stitch On had some Picture This Plus that came into stock, and it's 14 count. And I probably would have chosen a little higher count, but this is what I had in stash, and I kind of feel like it's a similar color. Kind of pink undertones. So I have two pieces. They're 14 count. This one is a little less modeling. So that's a candidate. And then this one has a little more modeling. It's so soft. I decided to go with 14 count to try Picture This Plus because it is hand dyed, and Leslie at Stitch On said that the holes are kind of close together. So I thought it'd be, you know, good to try. So if you have, I don't know, advice on what you might pick, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe not so mottled, because this one is maybe a little pinker, and this one is a little more brown. I think I might go with this one, but tell me what you think. Sorry, there's a lot of glare on that. It's coming in evening time here, so the sun's gonna come low and be shining in here. So those are the classes I'm gonna take, and I'm planning on really spending a lot of time just hanging out at the ball. So I have a couple more project bags in here. One One is a whip, 2 are whips, and a couple new start options if I want. I'm guessing that I won't get to those, but I've been working on this one for quite a little while. I may pick that one up. It's Let's Talk Winter by Hands On Design. This is one I've traveled with some, even though it's black fabric. But that's as far as I've gotten with it, and I've got so much like stitching for the Jingle Ball that I may not pick that one up until winter time, like January. And then this one, I would really like to work on this one. It is a pattern by Fat Quarter Shop, and let's see if I can find the front pattern piece here. It's called Letters to Santa. I really don't think it would take a whole lot of time. But again, it's Fat Quarter Shop. I have chalkboard black Ada that I'm working on, and I don't have much of a start on it, just some of the frame border. I kind of wanted to have it done last year, but I did not. So I have those, and then there are 2 new start possibilities with no expectations of finishing it this year, but I have gotten Tiny Modernist quite a few of her terrarium patterns, and I realized that I got this one at the Jingle Ball last year, and here's this Christmas one. And there's something about these I just love. I mean, Christmas in a jar, just so cute. Oh, it kind of reminds me of like fairy houses. And so I picked up just a little black piece of 14 count and some floss to go with it. So maybe that may be a start. And the other one I've had for, probably a year. I got this one because it kind of reminded me of Hedwig from Harry Potter. I love snow globes, and if my daughter wanted it, I would give that to her, but I just love it so much. It's a Bent Creek Snowy Owl globe, and I think this one is stitched with some pearl cotton, so that's something different. So if I don't start this, it might be a January start. So anyway, lots of possibilities there. And, you know, I've had, like I said earlier, a hard time stitching during the week. So I'm hoping to curtail some of the overworking and have some more stitching time. I have been kind of keeping track of when I stitch on I've done different things through the years. In previous years, I've had just like, you know, a little paper calendar that I picked up at Target that's had just like the months on it and just wrote down on the days what I stitched. And this year, I picked up, I think it's the Nap Time Stitcher on Etsy. I picked up one of her downloads, and I just love the graphics on it. I think the Book of Days is really neat. Excuse me. I think the Book of Days is really neat, but it's not an aesthetic that's gonna like pull me in and make me like super excited to open up, you know, open it up and do something with it. So she's got a lot of different options that you can add on. So I kind of lost track, you can see in May, of keeping track of my stitching days. And you'll see big gaps sometimes, right? And I'd love to do one this next year. I need to go in and fill in, just out of curiosity, like how many days I stitched. But I would love to go in and do it next year and see like a lot more stitching days. But I just go in and I write down on the monthly spread, you know what, this is in August. It was the month that I went back to school. So, I don't know, I feel like the stitching is mostly on the weekends, and I just want more days. I've got so many projects that I want to work on, and but I love the graphics. I thought maybe I'd kind of flip through and show you some of the fun graphics that she has on her downloads. So anyway, really love it. I think she's got a couple of different designs. She does have some more vintage ones, but I like these kind of fun bright colors. So I'm kind of debating. I did pick up one of these calendars for 2025 at Target, just to keep it simple. It's easy to transport and kind of put this in my stitching bag. This is a little bulkier. I could take it and put, like, go get it bound, spiral bound. So I'm kind of debating a little bit on what I'll do to kind of keep track of my stitching. But we're coming to the end of the year, and I've been playing around a little bit with whether or not to do Whip Go this year. Or next year. I didn't do it this year. Last year I did it, and I didn't really have a lot of projects started. I didn't have a ton of whips, but I kind of used it as an opportunity to start some projects, and now I have quite a few whips. And I decided to go ahead and make a Whip Go board up, and I think I will do it because I do have a lot of projects that I would like to move closer to a finish. I would say, I think I took a look the other day. I think I have probably 20 some whips. Probably about at the end of the year, it might be maybe 25 or 30. So it's a lot, and I feel like it's more than it should be with the amount of stitching I'm doing. So in the next year, we'll kind of see what I'm comfortable with, if I can get take more time for stitching. And I've kind of got a Whip Go board set up to be more category based or designer based. So I've got quite a few designers on there, so I can choose. Even if I finish like a Primrose Cottage one, most likely I'll have another one started that I could pick. So it's not so much project based, it's more designer and then seasonal. I think I've got floral on there, animals. So it kind of gives me some wiggle room to be able to choose, because, you know, being told you have to do X, Y, and Z is probably going to make me not want to do it. So anyway, Whip Go is something that I'm kind of thinking about next year, and hopefully some more quilting. So I am going to just give you a little peek of a quilt that I finished piecing. It was a really simple quilt to piece, to cut. It's just a simple project. But it's been hanging up. It's taken me all year to kind of get back to it. So anyway, I need more quilting time too. And I think maybe I don't need more time. I just need to take the time, right? So I'm going to stop and then switch this around so that you can kind of see that project that I finished the top on, and then maybe a little sneak peek at something else I have going on. So, okay, so this is my finished quilt top. It's pretty big, and it's hard to kind of get the whole thing in there, but I'll kind of pan it around so you can see maybe a little bit more of it. There's the top. Can I show some of the bottom of it? Let's see. Goes down quite a bit. Okay, hopefully that didn't make you dizzy. Okay, so this pattern is by Fat Quarter Shop, and it's called Layer Cake Loop. And it's a free pattern that you can download from their website, and it's got several different sizes, There is a throw quilt, a lap quilt, a king, a queen, and I think the one that I did is maybe the lap quilt size. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I did the lap quilt size. It's pretty big though. It's 72 by 72. So, pretty big. Almost exclusively cotton and steel. So they now design under Moda Fabrics, and their division is called Ruby Star Society. So lots of wild modern prints, but I just love them, and I've not really known what to do with them. But this was a perfect pattern. If you need a pattern for some big prints that goes together really quickly, easy to cut. You know, these were cut from layer cakes, but you can definitely cut from fat quarters if you have a big stash. But layer cake loop. And then, yeah, I've got another little, I'm wanting to make another little mat for the inside of my tray. The one that I have in here right now, it's kind of a mess, like I said, but it's pretty springy. And so I decided I wanted to do some Christmas prints. So I'll kind of take you over here. I'm just going to walk you over here and kind of show you some red and white fabrics that I've picked out that might make a nice little tray liner. Anyway, that's what I've kind of been working on. A little bit here and a little bit there. Even the little bits kind of add up eventually. So hopefully I have a little more little bits that I can stream together soon. I will say the longer you go without filming, the more like a big hurdle it feels like to get things kind of ironed and go back through your calendar and see what you've worked on. And it's definitely easier to film more often and to connect with you on a little more of a regular basis. If you are still hanging out and subscribed, I appreciate you so much. And, you know, I love that option to subscribe that YouTube has, because there's quite a few Flosstubers that have different pacing with their YouTube videos, and it always pops up in my subscription feed when they do a video, and it's always exciting. So yeah, that makes staying connected a lot easier. So thank you if you are a subscriber. So hope you're doing well, and hopefully I'll be back here pretty soon. If you are in the States and celebrating Thanksgiving, I hope it's a wonderful holiday, and we'll see you soon. Bye.